Today, I've got some tea for you. In the form of a story time. You know when you get those random memories that just pop into your head and remind you of something that happened like 10 years ago? Well, I had that, except it was 5 years ago, and it was about the time that Vogue emailed me asking me to host the Vancouver Versace store opening, and I thought it was fake. And I almost missed this opportunity of an absolute lifetime. So I asked you guys on my stories if it was a story time that you wanted to hear, and you guys said yes. So I'm gonna tell the story, which actually starts out embarrassing because it involves me falling for a scam. So I got the official email from Vogue in 2015, but around that time, before I got that email, I got another email that was also from Vogue. Late 2014 or early 2015, I got this email and the sender looked legit. Like, the email was weird and it gave me too good to be true vibes. But when I checked the email, it said like a person's name at Vogue.com. And keep in mind, this was 5 years ago. I didn't know as much as I know now. And to almost like keep someone else from falling into the same trap, I do want to tell the story, even though it's embarrassing because no one likes to admit that they fell for a scam. So when I checked the sender's email address, it was coming from a Vogue.com email. And so for that reason, I thought it was legit because I didn't know at the time. But if you work for any of the magazines that fall under the Condé Nast umbrella, your email is going to be from a CondeNast.com email address. This I'm passing on to you because hopefully you don't fall into the same trap. And it was basically asking me for a video interview. And they, I think, referenced a post on my website, said that they really liked it and that they wanted to have a video interview to ask me some questions. And I thought, this is way too good to be true. This was back in 2015. I had around 10,000 Instagram followers. I was a nobody. Like, no one really knew who I was. I was still like building my brand and like going to events and like networking. So I was definitely like blown away and extremely starstruck because I've been reading Vogue for years. And I was like, oh my God, someone at Vogue wants to ask me questions. So I agreed to the video interview. We set up a time. I think it was over Skype. So I'm on this call with a person who has emailed me from a Vogue.com email. Red flags began popping up immediately. So first of all, I was on camera, but the other person was not. It was a black screen, and they also weren't talking. So it was just me. This freaked me right out. I was saying hello, like, is someone there? And they were not responding to me, but they were actually typing back to me in the messages, and they were sending me messages saying like, hi, sorry, like I'm having technical issues. Can you please tell us like your name, where you live, like your phone number, your email, like all this personal stuff. That's when I knew I was getting like for sure scammed, because for what reason would they need me to verbally state all of this on a video call? Super weird. And of course my mind starts going like, oh my God, what is happening? Are they planning to listen? Maybe this is the result of reading a lot of murder mysteries and listening to like murder podcasts and just really diving deep into the mystery section of Netflix. But at the time, my mind was running a mile a minute of like, why does this, now I know it's not Vogue. So now I'm thinking, why does this person want to get my verbal identity and my information? I remember saying something like, asking them why they needed that, and they were saying, oh, it's for our recording purposes. And I said, I'm not really comfortable giving that information out. I would be happy to continue the call if you are able to come on camera and like talk to me through the voice call. And they said like, we won't be able to do that. And that's when I started to get a little bit freaked out because I didn't want to be talking on this call for longer than I had to. So at that point I hung up. So I removed myself from the situation and I was like, oh my God, I just got like almost scammed. Like, that was kind of freaky because you hear about scams happening, but you don't ever think you're gonna fall for one. And apparently all it took was a Vogue email to get me on this like weird Skype call. So anyways, I really had to tell that part of the story because it blends into the next part of the story. So a little while later, let's say like a few months, I get an email from actual Vogue, but this time it's from a Condé Nast email address, which now I'm thinking, is this legit? Are Vogue emails legit, or is the Condé Nast email legit? And I didn't have any ideas. Again, hoping you guys can learn from my stupid mistakes and like pick up on some of the things I've learned since then. But I started going on any Condé Nast affiliated magazine website and looking for their contact information. Because if I could find a contact email that was at condenast.com, then I knew that it would be legit. Because cross-referencing with an email that is used on the actual company's website is, I think, as close to legit as you can get. But I remember looking the person up that I had gotten the email from on LinkedIn, and they were in fact a real person, but I was still super skeptical, and I legit thought it was fake. I don't think I replied for a while, and then when I finally did reply, like I wasn't very like forthcoming or like invested in it, because part of me was like expecting to get scammed again. Okay, I just did a little digging because I was like, I wonder if I still have those emails. And I do. So I've got some emails to like help fill out the story where my memory might fail me. So I don't have the emails from Vogue, but I have my correspondence from my contact at Versace. So hopefully this will help like round out the story. So Vogue had reached out to me initially, and I believe that they wanted to have a call. Just to help shape this a little bit, Vogue was partnering with Versace for the launch of this Vancouver store opening. So some people from Vogue were flying down and some people from Versace were flying down because this was going to be the first flagship store in Canada. So when Vogue had reached out to me initially, I thought it was fake, I didn't reply, and when I did, I was like a little apprehensive because I didn't know if I was gonna get scammed again or like what the deal was. And again, this person asked for a call, and I was like, here we go again. From the research that I had done this time, like I looked the guy up on LinkedIn and he was legit. When I asked a couple of my friends in the industry if a Condé Nast email was legit, they told me it was, because Condé Nast is the parent company of Vogue, so it makes sense that an email would be coming from that address. So after all of that, I had my call with Vogue, and they told me about the project, and that if I was aligned with what they were proposing, that Versace would reach out to me. Yes, 100% I'm interested. I still have no idea how these people found me or like why they wanted to partner with me. I really didn't think anyone knew who I was outside of Vancouver or like at all really. So I was like definitely shocked that this opportunity had even come up. So this is where the emails from Versace come in. The VP of marketing, he emailed me and introduced himself. He would be coming to Vancouver and wanted to like meet up to talk about the project. And me, I'm like freaking out, but like also trying to be professional and like chill about it. So we ended up getting drinks at L'Abattoir. He ended up being amazing. Like we're still friends to this day. Yeah, really cool guy. This entire time I'm like, all right, so when are you gonna ask me to say my date of birth and my social insurance number and my mother's maiden name? Because I'm ready, I'm on to you. Even though I had like vetted the guy I was meeting, he was real on LinkedIn, his email checked out, but there was still a part of me that was like, look, I've been fooled before. It could happen again. But at this point I was like, okay, it's real, like it's happening. So the night that we went for drinks, I was so nervous. I changed my outfit so many times, full body meltdown. But then like up here, playing it cool, which I've gotten really good at over the years. The social anxiety, you don't even see it on the face anymore. We've come a long way. We love that for me. But it was insane because here I am, I have like 10,000 followers. I don't live in like a major city. Like Vancouver's big, but it's like not as major as like a New York or an LA or a Toronto. My perception of myself was that I was a legit peasant. I'm a nobody, I wasn't working with brands, I wasn't really getting a lot of paid work opportunities. So for a brand like Vogue or Versace to approach me and want to work with me, I thought was insane. Not to mention my style was super eclectic at the time, which isn't what a lot of brands were looking for. I was over here wearing like spiked garter belts and fishnets and like Jeffrey Campbellitas. It was a whole era, but I was definitely someone with style that I wouldn't consider to like fit in with the scene. So I was like questioning myself constantly of like, why did they pick me? So after we have cocktails and I get to know a little bit more about the project and the store opening and what's expected of me. We part our ways and I don't see anyone until I think 4 months later when they came to the city, and it was pretty much like a fly in, fly out scenario. I actually worked that day. So I was working downtown. So I like brought an outfit with me so that I could change and then go to the store opening right after. This is the reality of the behind the scenes. This is the making it work moment. So that's exactly what I did. I was again like so nervous about what I would wear. I ended up borrowing a jacket from a friend of mine that was way too big for me, and you can definitely tell. But I'm not gonna be too hard on past me. She was still figuring it out and doing her thing. So let's talk deliverables for a second. So because I was a co-host for this store opening, part of my responsibility was populating a 15-person guest list, which was a portion of the overall guest list. And then on top of that, I had to do a blog post about the event, which they gifted me a bag for, which was absolutely insane. I actually still have it. Okay, here she is. This detail is legendary, and then she's got this thick gold chain. She opens up into like a 2-pouch bag. This bag means a lot to me, not only because it was a gift from Versace, but it was actually my first designer bag. And so I've held on to it this whole time, and I don't wear it out too much because it's calf leather and it just like attracts scratches and marks. So part of me wants to keep it in good condition because it's such like an amazing memory to have, but I definitely still want to wear it out more often because like she deserves to be shown off. I probably did some Instagram posts leading up to it as well, and that was it. Aside from that, it was show up and mingle and have a great time. So I'm gonna insert some photos from the event right here. So I did co-host the event with 3 other people. Sue Randawa, who owns the optical boutique in Kerrisdale. She's got like incredible style. Then there's Lillian Nguyen, who also has amazing style and just like absolute hair goals. And then Varenly Limena, who's got the most impeccable taste in suits. So the 4 of us co-hosted the launch of the Vancouver Versace flagship, and it was such an incredible experience, and I think it's also a good story to tell, and I'm honestly shocked that I haven't told this story sooner, but I think a part of it comes from like me not wanting to blow my own achievements out of proportion because like I'm just overall not very good at celebrating myself. But you know, it's better late than never to tell this little story of like a successful moment. The event was a lot of fun. The dinner ended up being at L'Abattoir in their like private back room, which was really cool. So I almost felt like responsible for that one as well, since that's where I had taken Marty. So after all of it was over, I actually did ask Marty, you know, how did your team find me? Like, who found me and how did they find me? And he said that it was basically someone who was working at his office put together a short list of people in Vancouver who like had cool style. And when he said that, what an honor to be on that list, because since I entered the Vancouver scene, I had style that was like eclectic, edgy, and because of that, I've actually experienced a lot of rejection from my peers in the early stages of my career as a content creator. So it's always been a sensitive topic because it's truly how I wanted to express myself, and it's how I felt my best when I was able to express myself that way. But it was also the reason that I had a hard time like making connections with my local peers. So to have the VP of this incredibly iconic fashion house tell me that someone put together a short list of cool people in Vancouver, that I was on the list, and that list made it to his desk, and even from then, like, he still wanted to work with me. It's just so important to keep doing you, no matter what pressures you're getting from your environment, because you never know who's watching and then who that might align with outside of your circle. Like, the world is so much bigger than your pond, and sometimes you just don't know it. It's a story that I've like kept inside for a really long time because it started with like the embarrassment of getting scammed by this like Vogue imposter. So it's definitely like a difficult story to tell, and I haven't been able to tell it for a long time because I never really felt like I truly deserved it. Hi, imposter syndrome, nice to meet you. But I feel like I can tell it now and not feel like it's coming across as like bragging or anything like that, just because I truly am proud of who I was and then what that ended up leading me to. But yeah, that is the story of how Vogue asked me to host the Vancouver Versace store opening, and I thought it was fate. And I actually almost missed out on this whole opportunity and meeting all of these cool people, and I'm really glad that I didn't. So what's the lesson here? Like, don't let a scam keep you down, like keep your head up. No, I think the message here is like, do your research and tread lightly, but like confidently. So definitely like cross-reference LinkedIn if you're ever suspicious about an email. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to keep doing what feels right to you. So when an opportunity like that comes up, you can feel aligned with it and like be really proud of it, because like it's coming to you because of who you are authentically. And for that, you 100% deserve it. So this has been kind of a long story time. I'm sure if you go back on my blog or my Instagram, there are photos that are still up from that night. I know that the images are still on Getty, which is where I got the ones that I inserted in the video here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that story time. That was a really fun one to revisit, and I'm so glad that my computer kept that email from 5 years ago. That's absolutely insane. I thought it definitely would have been wiped by now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.